Hey everyone, it is Chantal Gerardy here from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm going to share with you the power of professionally presented sales webinars for both e-commerce and service-based businesses. So I'm going to share examples today of how it works with both e-commerce and service-based. In the online world right now, it is really important that we continue to engage our audience so that we can get more conversions. Sales webinars can be a powerful tool, allowing us to talk one to many, but there does need to be a specific method or formula that you have to use. It always amazes me when someone contacts me about a webinar funnel and I go, a webinar funnel is actually 5 stages. And if you get any one of those 5 elements wrong, it's like a hole in a hose pipe. The water will just come out and you'll just lose sales. So if you get the marketing part right, it doesn't matter how good your webinar is, it's not going to work. If you get the marketing wrong, and you've got a great webinar, it doesn't matter because you might get the wrong people onto the webinar, or if the webinar is wrong or not well formatted, then you won't make sales at the end. So any element in those 5 stages, any element that you make a mistake in those 5 stages, you will lose clients. And that is why you really should be working with a coach to get it right. I personally have done Colin Boyd's program. So I spent a lot of money educating myself to be able to sell from webinars and make money from selling from webinars. And these are the processes that I teach over the last 8 years of my experience in doing so. Our most recent success story was with Molly from the Finance Club. We went through over 8 weeks. We put together a webinar funnel for her. She's been doing heaps and heaps of webinars and hasn't been making sales from them. And she just said after this that this was her most successful launch and webinar that she's had where she's made sales from them. So I think we had about 1,043 people register for her webinar, and that was about 2 to 3 weeks of marketing. And from that, the attendance rate was 400. And from the 400, she was able to make, I think it was around 3,500 on the first day. I haven't checked in with her what the follow-up, because usually there's a follow-up, follow-through strategy, which then includes the following day as well. And I haven't got those stats yet. But it was the most successful for her. So it always gets me when people go, oh, I know how to make a webinar and I'm just going to give it all away for free. And in fact, that's exactly what Molly said when she did her webinar. She said, I give them everything in my webinar. And I said, great. So why should they pay you any money at the end of the webinar? And that's exactly right. So the number one thing when it comes to a webinar, and write this on your forehead, tattoo it to your hand, wherever it is, you tell them what to do. You don't tell them how to do it. People have to pay for the how. Okay? It's like Leah going on and giving away her formula to make candles. Why would anyone then have to pay her to make candles if she gave away the formula? It's like KFC. If they gave away their secret ingredient, why would anybody ever have to go to KFC anymore? And unfortunately, this happens mostly in the service-based sphere of things, where we just want to give it all away. We just want to give it all to them. We want to change people's lives, and we just want to show our expertise, and we just want to help more people. But guess what? You can't help people when you're broke on the bones of your ass. Okay. And I had to learn that the hard way. So tell them what to do, not how to do it. And every time you do a slide, ask yourself, am I telling them how to do it? Or I'm telling them what to do. Okay. If you just take that away, just do that. So we want to be able to drive sales. Yes. We want to be able to enhance our brand credibility, and we want to develop long-lasting customer relationships. We know that from November last year, the buying habits of people changed with the looming recession. What that means is people are still spending money, but they need to be touched in their special places. And that could be in social media, that could be through email marketing, that could be even from picking up the phone and having a phone call with them. But webinars are a great way to build that know, like, and trust, to get a feel for you, to get an essence from you, and to be part of a group of people that all feel like they're heading in the same direction. Webinars are fantastic. And of course, you can repurpose the content as well. So how does it work in e-commerce businesses? Well, it helps to increase your conversion rates. Okay, so you can leverage sales from webinars when you showcase product features, you showcase the benefits, and you show success stories or case stories. Okay, it's also interactive. You can engage with people, and you can significantly enhance your conversions by helping them to better understand the product and the value of the product, which will help them then instill confidence in the product, but not just confidence in the product, but confidence in spending money with you. I'm sure someone else must be selling a skincare range like Sally, an organic skincare range like Sally, which is what she has at her clinics. But why must we buy from Sally? We're going to buy from Sally because of Sally's story, Sally's experience, her knowledge and know-how, for the relationship that we have from her, and of course, showcasing the product value as well. So go back and have a look at the previous training that we did on crafting a story that sells, because crafting a story that sells will most certainly be inside your webinar presentation. Okay, an example of that, increasing conversion rates, would be a cosmetic brand hosting a sales webinar demonstrating how to apply the techniques and showcase the results of the new makeup line. Now, I'll share a funny story with you. What's the name of it? Is it Morph? Oh, I'm not good at it. I have to look at it now. What's his name? My daughters actually won a ticket to go in. James Charles. Okay. James Charles, he launched his color palette, his first color palette ever. And the twins came to me and said, Mom, he's launching his color palette. You have to go online. He shows you exactly how to. He did all these demonstrations of how you mix all the colors and what you do. My twins were like, I have to have it. Guess what? It was launching at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wake up at 5 in the morning because I'm an early riser. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and I'll go buy it. You know what happened? 5 a.m., woke up, sold out. So I thought I was clever. I went onto eBay and I bought James Charles color palette, but a third of the price. It arrives in the door, and as soon as it arrives, my twins pick up, and I thought they wouldn't notice. They picked it up, they had a look at it, and James Charles had taught his users how to identify what was a fake James Charles eye palette versus a real eye palette. So I got done in like straight away. I will not use this. I will not, because he did videos and showcased all these products around how to actually identify the product and how bad it was compared to his other stuff. So he handled objections in his presentations and in his marketing. So he had his audience down packed. So when they launched a couple of weeks later, I had to wake up. This time it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go and buy the actual product. So there's my story, my James Charles story. But that's a perfect example of how he had educated his customers and built that know, like, and trust, and got raving fans. All right. So number 2 for e-commerce businesses is it helps with brand authority and trust. A little bit about like how I was telling you now. So well-crafted webinars will position yourself as an industry expert, okay? Think about you in an e-commerce space doing a webinar versus others that don't. Who do you think is going to look like they care about their audience more? Okay? Leah taking the time to address people who have smelling issues, scent, smelling, sniffing issues, smell sensitivities, got there in the end, smell sensitivities, and she's going to align herself as the expert. People are going to go to her to buy her products because she is now showing you exactly not how to do it, but what to do, okay, to be able to help. Okay, so showing interest in her actual customers. But also you can share valuable insights, industry trends. You can answer any questions, any frequently asked questions, and just really build that rapport with them and foster that brand loyalty. So another example would be an online fashion retailer holding a webinar, and I actually know someone who does this. They do this with clothing. So like last of the best sellers or our clearance items, offers styling advice, like mix this hat with these shoes and that jacket. And because, you know, for me, I've got no idea. I just look at the mannequin and say, I'll buy that whole outfit because I can't mix and match, as you can see. So by doing that, people just go, I'll buy that whole outfit, right? That whole outfit looks great. You've matched it. I'll just buy the whole outfit. So it's a great way for people to do it. You could even use it like as an online shopping experience, even at that webinar. So literally you can sell right from that webinar. And I know someone who does crystals who does this live and does it exceptionally well. Those of you who know Mother Nature's daughter. So a very similar sort of strategy. All right, so benefits for service-based businesses. So showcasing your expertise. So service-based businesses, such as consulting firms, marketing agencies, can leverage webinars and demonstrate their expertise in a particular niche, okay? You can share valuable insights, you can share some strategies, some case studies of before and after, and you can establish yourself as an industry leader, attracting potential clients, especially if you have the title right. The title is one of the most important things for a webinar. If your title is wrong, it will attract the wrong people. We found that particularly if I said get sales from your socials, and if I change it to six-figure businesses or scaling six-figure businesses get sales from your socials, I get a higher caliber of clients attending the scaling six figures business owners. And guess what? They're more likely to spend, they're more likely to buy at the end of that. So a webinar we did recently, we're actually changing the title because we noticed we got a lot of people that were there for free money ideas. And we're changing the title for a particular webinar that I'm doing for another client. So lead generation and nurturing is number 2 for service-based businesses. And for me, I think this is a great way to generate leads, because the entire time you are marketing your webinar, the entire 3 weeks beforehand, you are marketing your webinar, you are building your expertise, you're showcasing, and you're generating leads because they're giving you an email address to sign up. So even if they don't show up to the webinar, which is obviously what we want them to do, you've still built your email database with the right clients. So even on the way to running the webinar, you are generating leads. So we have to have that show up sequence as well to make sure that we then, once they've signed up, we've obviously got to nurture them so they show up for that event. And then we've got the follow-up as well. Remember, I said there are 5 stages. The follow-up at the end of it is like, oh, you didn't attend the webinar. This is our offer. Can we help you with something? Okay, follow up and follow through. So we are collecting data the entire way, which is really awesome. So according to a study, businesses that use webinars as part of their marketing strategy have an average conversion rate of 20%. Now, that's quite a high percentage. It does depend on how much it is. Anything over $500, can be a bit, it starts to get slower. So the cheaper it is, the more likely you are to get sales straight away. Anything over $500, as soon as you start going into the thousands, it's a lot harder. So I normally will get 1 to 2 sales on a $2,000 to $5,000 program. Okay, cool. So 73% of marketers and sales leaders consider webinars as one of the most effective ways to generate high quality leads. Now, they are only high quality leads if your marketing's right and your title's right. If the title's wrong, they're not going to be high quality because they're going to be the wrong people there. And if they are, and if your content plan is wrong and your key messaging is wrong, you're going to get the wrong people to show up for the event. Very important. 95% of attendees view webinars as an important source of information when making a decision. So I've had people that have watched me for 5 years come to a webinar and sign up. I've had the opposite of that. I have people that have attended webinars and then 5 years down the line bought something. But that spearheaded it. So webinars allow you to strengthen your online presence and market your webinar, and you can even qualify those attendees with the title and with your marketing plan. It does then also give you the opportunity to sell one to many. So at the end, you make a sale to everyone, or alternatively, you could just get them to book into a call. Okay, they simply could just get them to book into a call, especially if you've got a sales team or if you want to have a conversation, or you could, so it's called a soft sell or a hard sell. The soft sell is, yeah, book in for a call or we'll email you something. A hard sell is right now, within the next 24 hours or within the next 2 hours, sign up now for the next 3 people only. These bonuses or this value only applies for the next hour only is a hard sell. Okay, so that pricing presentation at the end of the webinar is super, super important. All right, so repurposing webinars for both the B2B, which is business to business, and B2C, which is business to customer markets, allows you to extend the lifespan of your webinar content. Okay, so we can repurpose that content for B2C and B2B, and here's how. Okay, so firstly, you could use those recordings, so on-demand recordings. You could take that webinar, put it into YouTube, stick it up on your website, and you could just have it there as evergreen so people can go on and look at it, okay? If I'm doing a hard sell, I don't do that. Or I take the hard sell out. So when you start your transition to selling at the end of the webinar, I just delete the recording of the presentation at the end, because if I've just made that hard sell and those bonuses or that value is only available for the next hour after that webinar, if it's live on the website, it's still not going to be relevant. Okay, so make sure that your content's still relevant if you're going to have it there. You can then obviously share it out. It can be on your website. You can put it on social media platforms or send it out via email newsletters. You can also take that content and repurpose it across social media. I always say every single slide that you use in a presentation, every slide is a piece of content for social media. So I make my webinar first, and then I use that to get people there, because that way I know I'm going to get the right people there. So every single slide is actually a social media post, because it's going to have key points, it's going to have insights, it's going to have actionable tips, it's going to have statistics, it's going to have quotes, success stories, infographics, visuals, everything that you can use to get the right person to show up. You can then take that webinar and you can convert all of that into like a PDF catalog. So you can have that as a downloadable catalog or an ebook. So say, for example, Penny, for her educational furniture that they have, she could do the presentation, she could have all the slides, she could literally take those slides then and make that into a PDF, an ebook. And then she could have that as they could download it from the website, and she can capture the email address. So download our catalog here. And the catalog's not just a catalog, because it's going to have Penny and Lee's story. It's going to have their story that they created, which builds that know, like, and trust from our previous presentation that we spoke about. And then from that story, it's then going to go into their missions and their values, and it's going to have statistics and case studies and stories and some top tips, educational tips for kids and furniture. And then she can create that as a lead magnet and capture email addresses. So people, so the webinar is not dead. Do you see what I'm saying? You're taking that webinar and you're repurposing it. Use it then as a catalog, but you can also obviously then still have that video on there as well. You could even send that video. So for example, Penny could go, I'm going to send it to all the, do you have C&K? Is that what they called? I can't even remember. My kids are so old now. C&K schools, K and C, C&K, whatever they are, if it's a school. You could send it, Head Start, is that like a franchise? You could send it out to a franchise of schools, email it with a cover letter and go, we've created a video here of all our of our company, what we do, our mission statements. If you really care about your kids and their furniture, here's our values, here's our thing, watch our video, here's our catalog. And now just email that out to people. How awesome is that strategy? So you can host the replays. I don't do this. I prefer to do it live. So I'll do the same webinar and I'll just do that webinar live, because I do like to tailor make it. So at the beginning of my webinar, I'll ask people to put in their industry, because it's important to engage people in your webinars. So I'll say, hey, where are you calling in from? Or what prompted you to come today? What's your biggest pain points? So what industry are you in? And then I will always tailor it. So say, for example, maybe there's a property manager, or maybe there's like today I've done it as well. Maybe there's a kinesiologist on there. I will then refer some of my examples and I'll acknowledge them and use those examples in my webinar presentation. So although some people do replay their webinars, they get everybody to pitch up, they just play the webinar and then they sit in the background and answer questions and chat in the box. I personally just run it live again because I like to do that. And then, of course, we have mentioned it briefly, but you can use that webinar content in newsletters as well, by summarizing the key points, the highlights, the takeaways. I always call them the takeaways. And that can obviously drive engagement and move for leads. So remember that whatever you're doing, whether or not it's the B2B market or the B2C market, or whether or not it's service-based or product-based, remember that general cookie cutter fluffy doesn't work. It has to be specific. If it's business to business, it has to be customer centric for them. If it's B2C, it has to be customer centric for them. And the process or the way that you engage them has got to be logical. If it's not logical, you will not get a yes. I was on on a call with my payment plan company this morning, because in the webinar, I want people to be able to buy my 8-week program, but I want them to be able to do the payment plan, and I want to be able to give them one link so they can do the payment plan. I was on the phone with them for an hour, and it's just not possible for me to do that, which is so super annoying, because they've actually got to go and they've got to fill out an invoice number and they've got to do whatever. And so I'm thinking of ways now that I can make it a one-click thing, because I know if I say, oh, send me an email and I'll send you the payment plan details, every stage that you have will lose people. Every stage loses people. So it has to be one way to do it, to get a sign up straight away. So it has to be customer centric. It has to be customer friendly. Everything, that offer at the end has got to be logical to your audience. Okay. If Leah is selling her chakra candle range kits, and on her webinar, she has construction workers who've pitched up, because she says she created a title like having a healthier life at home, and she was referring to candles, but her title ended up catching a whole bunch of construction workers to her. I mean, I'm exaggerating, that wouldn't happen, but construction workers, it doesn't matter how good her offer is, she's not going to get it. So remember what I said, there are 5 stages. You get any one of those stages wrong and you're out, you're done. Okay, so it has to be customer centric, customer friendly. So I am now going to take you through to, and it is a very old presentation, and it's not one of my newer ones, and it's not one of my biggest ones, but I went for a smaller one so that I could just give you some examples. Now, for my VIPs that are live right now, they're going to get Q&A at the end. They get email support. They get Facebook support as they need it. For my VIPs who work one-on-one, they get emails, calls, and they'll get the strategy done in their one-on-one sessions as well. So VIPs are one-on-one, they'll get the one-on-one strategy. VIPs will get the support through the Facebook group and live after this. But I am going to take you through an old presentation of mine, and I will go through kind of why each slide is there, so you're aware of how the slides are created. However, the VIPs and the VIPs in the Facebook group are actually going to get a checklist of what goes on every single slide. Okay, but I'm going to take you through this anyway, because it will be good for you to see it. All right, cool. So remember, it is all about what to do, not how to do it. Okay, so this particular one was called Sell Like Crazy Online. I'm so excited you're in the right spot. So excitement phase, okay? Tone, voice, excitement. Engage them, come closer, come by. Have you ever been to a webinar where they just stand like this and they talk the whole way through this and say, listen to my webinar? I was actually told I moved too quickly. And I've also been told by others that moving actually keeps people awake. So I'll do that. But getting them excited, you're in the right spot. Woo, let's do this, because we want to wake people up and we want to get them engaged, right? Right, I'm going to show you how. So this is kind of like your promise to them. I'm going to show you, this is my mission statement. And this mission statement of what I'm promising them has been told to them in social media because it got them to sign up. So don't say, come and sign up, and you get them here and suddenly your promise is different. The promise needs to be the same because they gave you an email address for them and they showed up for it. So again, just the promise, okay? The exact promise of what you promised them. Now, this is a commitment slide, and I've become quite strict with this one. I tell people now, this is not going to be recorded. It's only for a live audience. I also say now that virtual assistants aren't allowed to attend. Only administrators or PAs can attend. or people from a team can attend mine because I get virtual assistants coming and trying to steal strategies from me. But I also say, put everything away. And I say, turn on your cameras, be fully engaged, because if you miss anything, you'll miss the strategies. Because people are multitasking. And I tell them 80% of people, you're 80% less effective if you're multitasking. If they turn off their cameras more than what Jay did just to have some lunch, I kick them out. I've been kicking them out if I don't know what their business is. So if they don't engage in the chat box, if I ask what industry they're in and they do not engage in the chat box, they're out, because I know that there's a business coach hiding behind a camera trying to steal my concepts. And I had one recently who literally said, thank you, you've shown me how to run webinars. OMG. So this over here is your craft your story that sells. I'm not going to go into it. Go back, look at the previous VIP mastermind that we did that takes you through the importance of how of doing this correctly. But this is where I share my story and my tone gets faster and slower and up and down. And it's an emotional roller coaster to engage everyone so that I take them on the journey and they feel what I felt when I moved from South Africa and I had nothing. To then taking all the principles, putting in all the principles and running a successful business. So tone's really important. And obviously it does take practice and it does come with practice. So this, I just want to show you, this slide over here is why me, okay? So you need to have like a credibility slide. And sometimes the negative can really help. So I've wasted money. So I'm sympathizing with everyone and going, yeah, we're the same. Why me? Because I know you. Okay. Notice I use animations because you don't want to have the entire slide up because people read it and they're not listening to you and you want them to listen to you. So you could even just have one word here and you can in the bottom just put, you can actually just put notes in the bottom and just read those notes or use the notes. And then you want to get yeses along the way. So who you would like to know the easy way? Yes, yes, put yes in the chat box. Yes, yes. Engage your audience. Get them saying yes along the way. This is called a future-pacing slide. Future-pacing slides are getting them connected to the outcome of what it would feel like if they had the promise. Whatever you were promising them, how would it feel from the promise? For Daryl, well, you know, you could be sneaking out of the bedroom at 4 a.m. in the morning and not wake up the kids, you know, because the door's not squeaking because you've used Strikehold. You know, so you want to have, you know, what is the outcome of what that would look? And again, you go through those slowly and engage them and say, which one of those is yours? Are any of those familiar? Again, this is a yes slide. Who would like to get more, you know, get more yeses? A future pacing slide. Who would like this? Who would like this? And this is very important. You have to know your ideal client. If you don't know your ideal client and you haven't taken the time to understand their pain points, you're not going to be able to get the right words. Imagine your audience is sitting there and they're going, she doesn't know me at all, man. I don't want that. I don't want that promise. I don't want that outcome. You have to make sure that it speaks specifically to them. So this is things to consider. So again, I'm telling them here what they need to know, okay? I'm not telling them how to do it. I'm just telling them all the things they need to know in order to get this right. And if they really want to get things right, this is what you need to do. This will separate you from everyone else if you do these things. So I'm showing my expertise, but again, I am not telling them how to do it. Do you know how to brain dump your income opportunities? No, I've told you to brain dump your income opportunities, but do you know how to do that? No, you'll have to work one-on-one with me and I'll do that with you. You could give it a crack, definitely give it a crack, but guaranteed you do that with me and you'll be more successful. Monetize your desirable offer. Everyone's going, yes, I need to monetize my desirable offer. I'm not telling them how to do it. Okay. So again, this is, I'm telling them here what they, in order for the promise, in order for them to be successful online, here are some of the strategies that they can do. Share their story. Have I spoken to them about how to craft a story that sells? No. Relevant content. Well, what is relevant content? Share your point of difference. Well, I don't know what my point of difference is. But people will resonate with this, and they're not getting education overwhelm. You're not giving it all away for free. You're showing them your expertise. You're showing them what you're going to include in your programs. Now, the next one over here is you can either do 3 myths. So this particular slide, I did 3 myths, like the negative. Some people do, these are the three biggest problems. Here are 3 biggest solutions, but they're 3 somethings, all right? This particular one, I used the negative. And I said, these are myths, right? The right person will buy the right offer presented the right way online. You do not have to spend hours and hours online, and you do not have to gamble your hard-earned money away. So these are the 3 myths that I identify in my slide. So myth number 1, okay? And I'll talk about myth number 1, and I'll give them some ideas about myth number 1. And then I use a case study. So I'm going, this person had this problem, which is the same as my audience. And after working together, this person was able to solve that problem and be able to get clients online. And I even use a monetary example here of how she was a photographer during COVID. When COVID hit, she couldn't be a product photographer anymore. So she came to me and we created a product photography coaching course so she could teach people to photograph their own products. So we pivoted, and she was able to make money during COVID. And we had to prove to them that rather than posting the products to her taking a photo of them and sending them back, it would be better for them just to pay money to do the course and learn how to take photos themselves, because they own a product business, a product photography business. An e-commerce business, which means they have products the entire time that they've got to upload. And we show some examples. Those were product images before, product images after they'd done the course. People don't have to spend hours and hours online. I'm resonating with all my clients' pain points, telling them I've got better things to do. All you've got to do is get one thing selling right. Get one funnel right. Okay. Oh, that's pixelized. And just avoid wasting time or money online. So the myth was avoid wasting time or money online. So I'm showing them, well, I can do it. You can do it. And myth number 3, for me, it was, outsourcing marketing to someone else. And here I had to prove that the business owner is the best person to do it. And good old Alison was the example for this one. How before she was like this, before Chantal, BC, before Chantal, and AC after Chantal. And now she's like this. Then testimonial slides, so credibility. If you've got them, it would be good to use them. Now, this one over here is a transition slide. Transition slides now take them into the buying mindset. All right. You've learned some good stuff. We call this qualifying and disqualifying people. Some of you may not wish to hear this, but some of you would like to hear about the program and how I can help you. Okay, so now people are getting curious about the program. It's a transition slide. People are going, oh no, I want to be that person. There are 2 types of people, those ready to invest and change what they're doing so that they can do better, and those who wake up every day and do nothing. They don't want to change. They don't want to do anything. So it's called disqualifying them. I'm putting them in I'm talking to the right person. And I'm saying you registered today and you showed up. So you must want to change something. So I'm showing them that by them showing up today, they actually already have put themselves in a position to change. It's about getting a yes. Present the offer to them. Infographics are really, really important to sort of get this right. You'll get this, and you'll get this, and then you'll get this. And it's not about the deliverables. It is about the outcomes of the deliverables. So it's not in the 8 weeks, I'm going to see you 1 hour a week, and then I'm going to see you 1 hour one-on-one, and then I'm going to see you in the VIP group on a Monday, and then it's not that. It's in the 8 weeks, I'm going to set up one funnel for you so you can start generating clients. So at the end of the 8 weeks, you will have a client generating funnel. You'll get a do-it-yourself marketing program, lifetime access to go back. So if you forget about it, you can go back and do it. So it's not the deliverables, it is the outcomes. I cannot say that enough. And it's important to put the value there as well. So the total value, 7,405. The way to present that, sorry, is 7405. Okay, so Swish Sales Academy teaches you to present it as 7405, not 7405. It sounds less. This is only for qualifying, disqualifying. So making the right people. You recognize the importance. You see things. So again, if you don't know your ideal customers, you're not going to get these words right. You are coachable and you're willing to implement what is necessary. You're serious about investing in the client generation of your business. This is action words. I'm using action words here to get them to take the next step and showing them that what the opposite of that is. Okay, the opposite is you can take action and change something and learn from someone, or you can do what I did and over 3 years have frustration and costly mistakes. So show them what it'll be like if they don't do something about it now. Within a few sessions, so a promise, this is what you'll have. The total value, 7405, and you can get started today for 881 over 6 months. Okay, that is a saving of 2199 or 2199. All of this today, and I wouldn't even go over the deliverables. And why me? So all these credibility slides of presenting and doing it, I know I have the solution. This is a proven process. So credibility slide here. I love action takers, so I'm going to reward. So this over here is called a fast action bonus. Fast action bonuses are to get everyone excited and get them going straight away to go and hand over the money. So for the first 2 who sign up, they're going to receive an extra 2 weeks of one-on-one and group coaching, which is valued at $1,017, but only for the first 2 who sign up now. This will automatically be added to them. So fast action bonus. Now you can put a number on that. So for the first 2 only, I actually saw Daryl, a company here on the Gold Coast, Paula Brand, tagged me in it. It's at Pizzy Park. And for the first 50 people who pitch up at Pizzy Park, they'll get a free hammock. And for after 50, all the people will receive 50% off a hammock at Pizzy Park. And they're going to be doing all this thing. So I thought that was a great sort of thing. But you can have, for the first 2, you'll receive this, or for the first 10, or for the first 50, or you could just have in the first hour, you will get this extra bonus. So it's about getting them to jump on and purchase right now. Now, you will need to have a URL link ready to go, so you can put it in the chat box. And I always say, so I put the link in the chat box, and you could use something like Linktree. So say, for example, you've got 3 offers. You could have offer 1, offer 2, offer 3, and you could have that on Linktree. So it's one link that takes you to 3 offers, or you could have a landing page on your website. You do not want them to go to 3 different landing pages, which is what I'm avoiding for my next webinar. You want them to go to one place. So Linktree would be good in this time. And please close off your other links. Only have the 3 offer links on there. Okay. And give it a cool name. Give each one a cool name so that if they've emotionally connected to the one of 3 options, they will go into that. Now, the premise around 3 options is that you would glance over option 1, which is your cheaper option. Your second option would be the most popular, and you would go most into that offer and glorify that one. And then you would go over the third offer. So your center one, your most popular offer, is the center one, because apparently people have middle office syndrome. They always go with the middle one. But you go quickly over the first one, more in depth on the second offer. And on the third offer, you would say, oh, it's the second offer, but you get a little extra of this and that. But it would be better if you could get all those 3 links onto one link, put that in the chat box. And as I said, I get them to click that link. Hey, guys, could you click that link and let me know if it's working? You know why? Because the link is now opening up in their browser, which means when they close Zoom, the link is open. They haven't lost the link. It's still there. They can still purchase. Okay, some more testimonials. Click, copy, paste. And I always have a frequently asked questions. Now, a lot of people over here would open it to the floor to ask questions. Unfortunately, you can get a lot of issues. Trust me on this one. I can privately have this conversation about some horror stories that we've had. You always get the one person who will just be, but what about this or what about that, or negative Nelly, or hog the space or whatever. So instead I go, oh, look at the time. I know that all of you are rushing right now to go and make that purchase because you want to be one of the first 2 to get that extra 1,000 and something bonus, and you want to make that extra 2,000 bonuses today only or whatever. So I'm going to go over the frequently asked questions. And usually these are the most popular. When does the offer end? Well, the fast action bonus is only available for the first 2. The other offer expires within the next 30 minutes. What happens after I pay? As soon as you pay, within 2 hours, you'll receive a welcome email, which will give you access to my calendar. So I always get them excited about that future pace. What's the most exciting part? Getting into my calendar. I know that the most important part for everyone would be getting in my calendar. So I go, just get into my calendar. Pay, get into my calendar. I think I did that with Angelique. I was like, Angelique, just pay, and then you can get in my calendar, because it's the most exciting part. And then how soon can we expect to see results? Well, if you do nothing today, you can expect to see no results. If you sign up today, you could be one of the 270 people. You could be like one of the 270 people who've left positive reviews on across all my social media. But if you do nothing, you'll get nothing. So I ask those are the frequently asked questions, and obviously you'd have to ask for the more relevant ones as well. So I'm just going to say, whoop, that was a lot. But for those that are watching the recording, hopefully you will look at joining the VIP Mastermind program, and then you can attend these events live and be part of the Q&A and get access to all the additional resources that these lucky members are going to get. It's about 4 pages. The webinar slideshow is about 4 pages. I'll end with something that you may be thinking. How many slides? It's usually one slide is 30 seconds. Okay, so if I've got a 60, it's not 60 second, it's not usually 60, because you want about 45, because you have a bit of fluff in the beginning as people are coming on. So say it's going to be about a 45-minute session, you're going to be looking at 90 slides. You will need to practice it. I recommend that you record yourself on Zoom and practice yourself doing the presentation back, so you can look back and watch it. So just do it with yourself and watch yourself. And that way you can also practice and get the timing right as well. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye to those that are watching the recording and go to the live audience.